Hi, everybody. My name is Danae Lear, and I want to take the next couple of minutes and just let you guys know a little bit about who I am and why I do what I do. I want to improve healthcare. I want to make it as painless as possible for patients, for family members, as well as for the caregivers that have to work within it every single day. And the way that I frame everything I do is I look at it from the perspective of the process. Does the process work? Is there waste within the process from the perspective of the patient? From people that work within that process, do they truly understand the impact that they have on patients and families as they go through healthcare? And when you get those two things right, processes and people, you're going to get performance that matters. But I want to back up just a little bit and let you guys know how I landed in healthcare. In 2009, I found myself a patient. I was 10 weeks pregnant and I had pain in my stomach like you would not believe. It felt like fireworks were going off in my stomach. And so my husband and I ended up in the ER and we spent all day in the ER. Unfortunately, it was a pretty typical ER experience. I wasn't kept informed. Our ER doctor was young and rather arrogant, and he spoke down to my husband and I, and we left that day with no answers and a ton of debt. And I remember thinking, I'm never going back there. I don't want to ever experience anything like that again. But unfortunately, my pain kept increasing, and thankfully, my husband called back and he said, please relook at her scans. There's something that's not right. And they did, and they said, she needs to come back in. We need to figure out what's going on. And so they brought me back in and they did exploratory surgery, and my appendix was oozing everywhere, and they saved my life. But when I looked back on that experience, I just was kind of flabbergasted at what a mess it was. And unfortunately, I had other experiences in 2009 that weren't any better, and it left my family with a lot of debt, and I quickly had to find a job that could help relieve my family of that burden. And ironically, the only place at the time that I could get a job with the economy the way that it was at the very hospital that I was trying to pay back. And so I started in healthcare as a scheduler, and it did not take me long to realize that the patients that I was talking to on the other end of the phone were going through the exact same type of frustration and anxiety that I had gone through, and that I could be this soft spot for them in their healthcare experience that by the way that I processed their requests on the phone, both from a quality standpoint as well as from a service standpoint, being compassionate, that I could make a difference for them. And I've taken that into everything that I do in my various roles in healthcare, is I always look at it from the patient's perspective, because I still consider myself a patient. I just am now in a position to influence and improve healthcare, and I'm so humbled to be there. So that's kind of the why I do what I do. Going back a little bit to the how, whenever I get a team together and we're looking at blowing up a process, I give them absolutely as much autonomy as possible, because they're the front line and they know what needs to be done. And when you give them the opportunity to blow up their own processes and to make something that makes sense to them and makes sense to the patient, magic happens. And so as much as I can, I involve the team members in any improvement initiative. The other thing that I do whenever I get a chance to get in front of a group of people is I give them time to reflect on why they got into healthcare and to think about the specific stories that they have as to when they last had a really great day. Because by doing this, they remember the impact that they have on people. And so, when you get those two things together, processes that work and people who really understand their value, you're going to get performance that matters. So that's just a little bit about who I am and why I do what I do. And I'm really looking forward to continuing this conversation with patients and caregivers and their family members so that we can help to improve healthcare in our little area of the world. Thank you.